Welcome to the conclusion of the 2024 Long Island Open presented by Long Island Disc Golf. This is round 2, back 11, coming at you from Heckscher Forest Disc Golf Course in East Islip, New York. I am Adam Walsh, and I am joined today by Mike Berrell.
What's up, Adam? How are you?
I am fantastic. We've seen some great golf. We've seen some fireworks. This man featured right here in the video, Hutch, skipping one in on hole 5, but splashing out of the chains. Josiah has a clean lead at 14 under. Antonio trying to keep pace, got himself to 9 under. Phil hanging in there at 5 under, and some chase card magic happening with people climbing up the leaderboard here. So hopefully we'll have an exciting finish, but I guarantee we're going to see some really great disc golf played, and I am looking forward to watching it with you. We're going to kick things off on hole 11, par 4, 395 feet, averaging under par because it's really just two good positional shots. You can try to get creative and fly something down the wooded fairway here off the tee, but ideally you're just looking to play two strong position shots and give yourself a chance to get the birdie and walk away. Antonio is going to lead us off here on the back 11. Big high forehand. Not sure where that finished, but probably just short of the mouth there. Phil going to show us the backhand turnover line. Big Andy off the tee, hoping to drift it down the fairway into the tunnel. Seems to have pushed it a little bit long. Lots of wind there, Mike.
Yeah, you can hear it picked up so much since the first round.
Absolutely. Long Island, very famously known for its wind. Today was just no exception, and Josiah comes up a little bit short of the mouth. Hutch hoping to skip a forehand down the tunnel. Looked good out of the hand if he got the distance right, but again, that wind probably just forced it deep. We're going to look at some very creative second shots here. Josiah from a knee, spinning the forehand, forcing it down the fairway, finishes on the right-hand side about pin high. Gave himself a chance. Did really well from that position. Hutch forced to kind of squeak a turnover forehand from the knee. Did really well to advance the fairway. And Phil standing with his back to the basket. Just trying to force something down the fairway. Did well. He's going to have a contested putt for the birdie, but great job. And Antonio pinched off on that right side. Made it through. Got some forward push. He'll have a chance from probably just outside the circle.
3 of the cards, second shots were taken from a knee. That really tells you something.
Absolutely, and none from the fairway.
Right.
Hutch does well to get it up under the basket, walk away with his par. Antonio's going to want to give this a bid. Very nice.
Nicely hit.
Maybe a little closer than the camera gave it credit, but still just a fantastic putt. Josiah from the other side of the road.
Oh.
And able to let Antonio scratch a stroke back here early in the back half of the final round. Phil does really well to get it up over the rim of the basket and into the chains.
Was that through those split trees, or was that behind? I couldn't tell.
Jump in the comments. Let us know what you saw there. I don't think I caught it. If it was through the trees, we'll give him an extra point. Hutch taps in the par. Card played it under par. I guess that's all we can ask for.
Straight forward shot for hole 12, 263. Just right down a mediumly tight tunnel, and plays 2.4. So a little under par.
Yeah, we had a big guardian tree come down right near the basket a couple of years ago. And a shot like this might have had to contend with that in years past. But right now it's a pretty unobstructed putt. So when you see the hole averaging that low under par, you know these guys are wanting to get the birdie. Phil doing really well here, flying the biggest part of the fairway.
No, it's closer.
Should have a good chance at the putt coming back. Just a tiny, tiny tree to navigate. Josiah up next. Maybe a little tight on the right-hand side, but no trouble. Flies the entire fairway and joins Phil long of the basket. Hutch rounds it out. Great hyzer flip to flat, scaring the basket,
Ooh.
hitting the base. We'll call that Hutch's second confirmed ace run of the day. Antonio from 27 feet makes good. Josiah just putting a little too much spin on it, floats it right over the basket, gives himself about an equal length putt coming back. Makes good.
He's letting Antonio creep up on him now.
I was going to say, that's 2 strokes and 2 holes, bringing it to 3. If you were looking for some excitement, we hope you found it here with us today. Phil does have that skinny tree to navigate, and he's at that tricky distance where it could cause a problem, but not today. Great putt. And Hutch, after touching metal on the drive, taps in for the birdie. Great 2. Oh, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Hole 13.
It's a punishing one. 625 feet. The alleyway kind of bends off to the right, and a lot of people wind up just sort of back and forth between left woods and right woods, trying to just keep it in the fairway.
Absolutely. Lots of teeth on this hole. All it really asks you to do is keep it down the middle of the fairway, but that can be challenging.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, Antonio seems to have done a nice job of it there. Probably about equal with the red tee. Plenty of distance off the tee. Let's see if Phil can do the same. Similar height, similar line. Little bit more turn.
Hopefully cut roll.
Touches the fringe, but not too bad. Might have a slightly awkward stance for the second shot. Hutch playing the backhand turnover as well. I'm hoping that gets down. It's going to find the left side edge just in front of the red tee. Not bad at all. And Josiah sends the backhand straight down the middle of the fairway. Good height, good turn, great drive. Antonio first to act. Basket all the way down on the left-hand side. Went with something fairly overstable on a flex line. Did really well to push it all the way down. So Phil from the right-hand rough to the right hand of the fairway. What do you think, 60 feet?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from there. He's a little shy from where he wanted to be. I can see that.
The ground play on this hole is not always very favorable.
Yeah, it's a mix of weeds and gravel that sometimes just chew you up.
Lots of odd skips. Josiah throwing himself out of his sneakers there. Does really well. Just outside the bullseye. Great upshot. And Hutch is going to be forced to just lay this one up to the basket. Phil looks like he's lining up a run. It's got the height. Missed it by an inch. Great putt. Antonio creatively from a knee through a tree in for the 3. Phil taps in the par, Josiah taps in the birdie, and Josiah and Antonio continue to separate. The lead stands at 3 strokes as we head into hole 14. 485 feet. You got to cross a really big field and give yourself a good look to shoot one down the tunnel here to give yourself a chance at the 3. There's OB left and right if you turn one over or let it hyzer out. Antonio first to act. Shoots straight down the middle of the fairway. Gets a really good ride on the disc. Skippy finish, but all the way up into the tunnel. Very nice drive.
be fun.
Josiah with a big hyzer there. Did skip out and scare that left side OB. I'm glad he didn't find it. Phil up on the box. Good strong drive.
Oh man.
It's also going to finish on the left, but he's up close to the mouth. Hutch getting it up in the air a little bit, but I think he's going to be okay. Puts it down in a really good spot. That's a very clean control drive. Skip shot.
Yeah.
You could hear he liked it. Hutch the same, low penetrating skip shot. Big flare, pops him up to the left, but luckily stayed close to the edge. And Phil with a very tight angle. Low skip, big push. Did well to get it up to the basket.
All right.
Antonio's drive. Absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
And Josiah's going to need to make this, or he's going to let that lead go from 3 to 2.
Ooh.
Good bid.
All right.
Very good bid. Hutch from the tree line. Forced to just kind of scoot one up, dad putt style, up to the basket. Phil making good for the birdie. He's laying down an absolutely fantastic round himself. And Antonio cuts the lead to 2. 13 to Josiah's 15 under. Phil at 8. And Hutch had a beautiful drive on hole 5 in the first half of this round.
All right, so 15, we got a 570-foot hole, par 4. Big right turn down to a tunnel, and then almost a full 180. You're kind of coming back in the same direction for that for that basket to the right-hand side.
Yep. Antonio is scaring the OB here, and I'm really concerned. He is OB, and he is OB early. That's tough.
Probably gives
Tough to
Josiah a
see.
little bit of a sigh of relief to see it.
I would think so. Phil taking the hyzer line, but getting it high and long, and pushes out to a perfectly safe part of the fairway. He'll have a lot of distance to make on the second shot, but he'll like it. Josiah playing that turnover shot again, starts it down the middle of the fairway, drifts it right, pushes the long tree line, though there is no OB there. He may have a slightly awkward stance on the forehand, but I think he'll like that position. Hutch taking the hyzer position play off the tee as well and executing perfectly. All right, Antonio from way back in the fairway has a lot of ground to make up. Looking high, huge Annie, hoping to get the drift. I feel like he pushed it up there towards the gap, but we'll have to wait and see where he landed exactly. Phil laying down the roller again. A little bit of cut. I like the flip over. This is beautiful. Find a spot to stop.
Nice.
Inside the circle. Fantastic effort. Really, really great shot there. Hutch going to the forehand, a little more traditional, a little more controlled. Does well to make it through the gap, a little short of the circle, but he's given himself a look.
I think he was
And he
hoping
did
for
the
more
hard
skip
part.
than that.
Yeah, it would have been nice if it could have pushed a little more forward. Josiah laying out for this one. Skipping it in, perhaps. A little long of the basket. Beautiful shot. And this is going to be Antonio's 4th shot from the wood line, trying to shoot the corner. I know he caught some limbs. It looks like he couldn't fight all the way through. It is, it's moving in the wrong direction for Antonio here.
This hole is punishing sometimes.
It really is. He found himself in trouble off the tee.
It's just hard
Went
to
for a,
recover.
he went for a lot on that third shot. That's a really good putt to make to stop the bleeding there, and I'm really hoping he can shake that off and get back on the pace he was setting in the first part of this round.
Yep.
Josiah, on the other hand, with a very clean birdie, he can take a deep breath walking over to hole 16.
Yeah, that was a big separation on that score just now.
Big shift in the momentum for Antonio, and maybe a little bit of a reset for Josiah.
Oh my god.
And there's still a lot of golf ahead of us, a lot of OB, and a lot of ground to cover. So anything can happen.
The next hole alone, I've seen several stroke swings
Absolutely.
based on that OB.
So that hole is hole 16, 450 feet, playing just under par. Excuse me, almost a full stroke over par, as it is a very long par 3. And ultimately, the safer shot for the big distance players is going to be long and to the left. But with the wind in the open field, so much can happen. These guys are trying to throw really big drives here. You hope it's going to work out well for them. Phil starts it down the left-hand side and was aiming for that left side fairway, but didn't give it the height. So he'll be out of bounds pretty early off the tee. Josiah up next. Really just needs to put one in bounds. And has done that. He's done that really well. He played for that left-hand fairway. Safe. Should be an easy up and down. Hutch next on the tee. Uses more of the right-hand side of the fairway, probably trying to play a control shot down to the middle, but he's let it drift. He'll be OB, but he did get a lot of distance of the flight.
For people not super familiar with the course, we should mention that the reason the left is open is because that's the shorter tee's fairway, so you can just kind of pass over that OB and get to another part of that fairway, but it's not close by any means.
No, it still requires a really big throw. Phil's didn't have the height, and unfortunately that height issue continues on his third. This will be his fourth, looking to get up and down. Looks good out of the hand. Finishes inside the tree. He's well inside the circle. Should have a good chance to close out that putt and move on. Hutch throwing 3 from the center of the fairway. Does really well to put it up under the basket. No pressure on that putt. And here's Josiah from that left-hand fairway. Good strong upshot. Puts it really close to the basket. Antonio with just an absolutely monster drive. And able to convert one of the closest birdie putts I've seen on this hole.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be the closest I've ever seen.
Yeah, just a fantastic recovery from a really frustrating hole 15 to bounce back with that type of birdie is very impressive.
Yeah, I've not seen anybody drive that on that hole before.
No, that was exactly what he needed to do in that moment, and it's really cool to have captured that here. Just
Quite
another big thank you to Heiser Media for being there to capture all this action. This has been a lot of fun to watch. This has been some terrific disc golf. And it's going to bring us to hole 17. What are your thoughts here?
17, we got 406 feet. It is a tough par 3 to birdie. It is
Agreed.
one of those that, if you play it to par, it's not terrible, but you do not really see twos on this hole.
No. But it does look like Antonio's got it on his mind to give it a really good go. This is about what you need. You got to get it flat, but it needs to finish before it drifts into this right-hand rough. He should be okay to get up and down from par from there, but it's not going to be likely for the 2. Josiah next to act. Starts it out with a lot of hyzer, but it flips up. He's going to get that forward skip you need, but it did come up rather short of the doorway. Again, pretty routine for the up and down. Should be able to walk away with the par. Hutch giving it a much more traditional, good effort. Really pushed the edge there. I'm sorry, Hutch. He crushed that one. Phil rounded out the card. He's calling for it to flip. It doesn't seem like it's going to. But great distance, great power, and it pushed him up through the mouth. He'll have a fairly unobstructed bid at the basket from there. Josiah from just outside the doorway. Good frisbee toss. I think he's kept it inside the circle there. Should be okay for the putt. And here's Phil, one tree to spin around. Might have tickled the chains there. That was close. Hutch with an awkward stance manages to put it up near the basket. And Antonio close, but awkward lie.
Ooh.
Able to give it a good bid. Just couldn't quite convert with the chains. Such a great looking shot there.
I mean, that putt from Antonio was, again, closer than I've seen very many people at all ever have to, have a putt from on this hole.
On hole 16.
No, on this one as well.
Really? Okay. I would agree. I think I've seen a couple kind of slide. They catch that smooth center part of the path and can slide up if they've got the right angle. But no, he really did. The distance was fantastic. That right-hand side, though, it forces awkward stances. It makes you lean around something.
It's not just the rough, but it's also very kind of like uneven ground, hilly, and you can't really get footing.
Yeah, exactly. But good hole 17 moves us on to hole 18. We're looking at 345 feet. There's going to be OB right of the road all the way down the right-hand side. Hopefully shouldn't come into play unless you skip it off of one of those deer. Great shot of the deer there here at Heckscher. Antonio first to act. You can't go right because of the OB, but you really don't want to go left early either. The rough is extremely punishing. Oh my gosh, it's in the basket.
All right.
It's in the basket.
Oh.
Birdie on 16. Birdie look on 17. Ace on 18.
Skip through that tree. Nicks the stump.
Barbecue sauce. I didn't see it nick any tree. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a conspiracy theory. What a fantastic ace. And not only is it an amazing ace because it's also going to bring him back to within 2 strokes of Josiah with a few holes left to play.
You got to give him credit that what happened on 15 did not shake him in the slightest.
It's unbelievable.
He didn't get rattled.
He bounces back with a birdie on 16. A great look at a birdie on 17, which is very hard to get. And the ace on hole 18. Good shot there from Hutch. Pushed it a little long in the basket. Phil last to act here. Looks like he might have made contact with that center bunker tree. But, man, Antonio, the timing of that ace. Congratulations. Great to see it on film. And, again, one of those circumstances where the ace is amazing, but what it means for the scorecard might be more amazing. And here's Josiah pushing it long on the upshot. He's going to have a tester for the par. Phil does well to navigate the trees and put it close. And Hutch with a chance to make good from just outside the circle. Splashes the chains, but they don't hang on. Josiah, circle's edge for the par. The emotional impact of the card when somebody gets an ace. What do you think?
I mean, especially in the position when it's the guy, in the number 2 spot. And, I mean, it had to have shifted that kind of energy so much because he just came, a couple holes earlier, came off of an upset. And, I mean, that had to have been a great feeling.
Gosh, good drama, good action here. Brings us to hole 19, 343 feet. There is a center fairway to fly, but most folks are going to take this right-hand gap here, hope for a big road skip, and try to put it up near the basket. Antonio, first to act.
Within 1 stroke now.
Within 1 stroke. Don't like the reaction, but he says it's okay. Maybe he caught that tree and kicked out to the right. Hutch shoots the gap. catches a skip a little too early. I'm not sure what happened quite there, but he's only about halfway down the fairway. He'll have some work to do. And Phil with a really untimely shank. And I'm sorry. Sorry we had to see it. I hope he's able to recover from there. Josiah, beautiful shoot of the gap there. Catches a good skip.
Nice.
And finds himself just outside the bullseye. Great answer after that bogey.
His first bogey of the day, we should say.
First bogey of the day in 2 rounds. Great call there, too.
And for it to be on the hole that Antonio had the ace, that's the shift.
Very untimely. Great bounce back here for him, though. Antonio with work to do. Sends ones up sliding, but he does catch the big tree. He's going to have a very, very tricky putt to save the par here. Hutch with a chance from the right-hand side. Misses one tree, hits the second. Is going to force the upshot again here. This time he puts it up under the basket. No drama. But he will drop a stroke. And Phil from way outside to try to salvage the par. Probably trying to do too much. Catches an early branch and is going to be left with another big putt. Antonio unable to convert. Happy to see Phil make that putt there. That's such a frustrating feeling when you catch a branch like that so early in the flight. Leaves you with such a big putt. Antonio taking his time with the comebacker. Basket holds on. Shame to give that stroke back. While Josiah, on the other hand, has rebounded from the bogey and is tapping in for a birdie.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, we're right back to 3 strokes with 2 holes to play.
Did not want to make it predictable at all.
No, these are not things you're going to see coming. Tell me about hole 20. What are your thoughts? We're in the long position.
It is the roughest of holes when it's the par 3, and when we play it as that pushed par 5, it's, a little bit more forgiving. So we have a long straight forward, then we have a river OB that separates out in a slightly elevated basket. So a couple little tricks you got to contend with.
Yep, and with the OB, it does leave a lot of room for score separation, so this is still anybody's game. Josiah with a great tee shot right down the middle. Terrific push. He's covered a lot of ground there. He's going to like his chances for the next shot. Antonio to match. Didn't love it. Pretty tough cut roll there into the left side rough. Hopefully he can find some footing and get himself down to the road for the 3rd shot. Hutch seems to let it go just a little too early. And is probably going to be looking at a pitch out from there.
I feel like if you haven't played this one, you see 457 and par 5, and you think, well, how hard could that be? Until you realize how narrow the fairway is, how low the ceiling is. It's just...
Even the grass is mean. Doesn't even allow for skips. Hutch coming way over the top with the forehand. I'm not sure if that landed where he'd hoped. Phil from the left-hand fringe, able to throw a beautiful drive down the middle and set him up in really good position. Remember, we're not going to that basket. We're just trying to get up close to the road and give ourselves a good chance to get to the basket on the 3rd throw.
That ground just eats everything that's
It sure did. Antonio would have liked to have had at least another 50 feet of distance on that throw. Josiah, is he clearing the road in 2? No, but he did push it up to the road. And barring an awkward stance, he should have a good chance at the next shot. Hutch looking to do something similar.
They're getting as close to as they can to that line, which is it's dangerous.
That left-hand side with the tree and the tall grass, that left-hand side is not the ideal part of the fairway to approach from. Oh my goodness, Antonio scares the bejesus out of the OB.
Wow.
But drops himself back into the fairway. did really well to get over the road from back there. Phil with a lot of flex, overstable disc, misses the branches, and gives himself a chance. It's an outside look for the 4, but he's in position. Hutch is going to have to miss one tree, miss a T sign, miss another tree. Lot to ask. And Josiah from right at the edge of the road just needs to put this one close. And he's done that.
I know I saw on my cards somebody that was putting from kind of where Antonio is, but went long and OB because they're putting with that behind it. And it's...
With the elevated basket, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Hutch does well to send it through the window there. And Phil from Circle's Edge makes good.
Our joke is that this is the biggest elevation change on Long Island. So
this is, in fact, the most elevation change we have on the entire island. And Antonio's at a distance he's not going to love, but I'm happy to see him make that putt. It's a tough putt with the elevated basket and the slightly lighter chains. That's a nervy putt. But it's not going to matter because Josiah has grabbed himself another birdie, extending the lead to 4 heading into the final round. So although we had some moments of deep tension there and really had to wonder if things were going to switch up for the end, it does look like Josiah's got a very comfortable lead heading into the final hole, a par 3, 422 feet. It's a crush of a drive with a low ceiling and a tight fairway. And getting the 2 on this hole is going to feel fantastic. Getting a 4 on this hole is going to feel very frustrating. So it's one of those holes where you really just want to get your par, sign your scorecard, and call it a day.
And after playing 44 holes, you're probably a little wiped.
Absolutely. Though I would like to take this moment to point out that the conditions today, aside from the normal Long Island wind, were some of the most pleasant conditions we've played a tournament rounds in as long as I can remember.
I second that strongly.
I just want to express my gratitude and appreciation for the nice day we had there. Hutch choosing to throw it very, very high through all the tree limbs. Very interesting and bold strategy. Not sure he loves how it turned out. And Phil from about a third or so of the way down the fairway does really well to put that close. No drama for that putt. All right, Antonio wants to put this close and finish up strong. Hutch had some thoughts of that shot, but did well to get it up close to the basket. And Josiah looking to put it close, and he does. What an absolutely fantastic tournament from Josiah. Hutch closing it out. Antonio, I said it before, I'll say it again. Full routine. And you do it because it's the right thing to do. Really terrific effort from Antonio today. Fireworks on hole 18. Really just applied a lot of pressure to Josiah, but Josiah Zoodsma, once of our local club, now residing out of state, coming back into town. Fun story about Josiah, he made the start of this round with minutes to spare after getting caught on the Verrazano Bridge for 2 hours. Goes on to take down the 2024 Long Island Open with a score of 17 under and just an absolutely wonderful display of golf. Mike, thank you so much for watching and talking this through with me.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate having me out here.
Absolutely. On the realm of thank yous, we want to take a moment as we show you the leaderboard here. Special thank you to Kyle Ebinger, tournament director. Ran a really clean show. Everyone had a fantastic time, and we're really looking forward to having everyone back on the island next year. I'd also like to take a moment to point out the board of directors for Long Island Disc Golf. That's Stan Doskes, Steph Teschner, Meg Collins, Kevin Hutch, Kyle Ebinger, Mike Berrell, and myself, Adam Walsh. On behalf of all of Long Island Disc Golf, thank you so much for watching. If this video finds your feed and you're not familiar with disc golf, but you live on Long Island, please look up Long Island Disc Golf and consider coming out. We'd love to show you the sport. It's been just an absolutely terrific season. Having this footage is amazing. We've got spit outs, we've got throw ins, and we've got one of the slickest aces you're ever going to see. So thank you so much. Congratulations again to Josiah Zoodsma. And I'd also like to take just a quick moment to let you know who else won that day. So MPO, as we said, Josiah Zoodsma. FPO, that went to Toby Snadge. I want to shout out MP40, Chris Ward, taking it down 2 over on the day. MA1, young Sean Ryan coming down from Westchester and closing it out in what I believe was a 3 or 4 hole playoff. Congrats to Sean. MA40, Paul Leva. MA50, Paul 2. Good day for the Pauls. MA2, our own Standoskas. FA2, Alana Garvey, and MA3, Daniel Cheatham. So congrats to all the winners at the 2024 Long Island Open presented by Long Island Disc Golf. Thank you again to Heiser Media and for everyone who made this tournament possible. It has been an absolute joy, and we look forward to seeing you out on the course next year. Thank you so much, Michael.
Adam, thank you again.
Excellent. You guys have a great and safe off season. Keep the putts going in, and we'll see you next year.